Hello everyone, it's Mo. Welcome to Mo's Story Time. Today we're going to talk about a scary story of Lake Baikal. 2021, an anonymous author posted this story about Lake Baikal on 4chan. It's one of my favorite scary stories. It's scary not because there is any ghost or anything, but it really triggers my fear to deep sea creatures and all sorts of stuff like that and gave endless imagination. It's an amazing story in general, so without further ado, let's start it. I was debating if I should post this story, but after weeks of nothing happening, I decided to say screw it and post it. So first, some context. I work as a ranger in Bugden State Natural Reservoir near the Lake Baikal. Over the past years, I've come to find out that Lake Baikal is a very screwed place. So here's a few of my experiences. I'll start off with a few oddities. Aside from the usual ice ring, Baikal's in, vehicle, animal, people stuck in ice, there are oddities like unknown ship appearing on foggy days. I remember spotting a few unidentified ships in my time, and I've heard stories of really old-looking ship appearing in the fog. Another creepy thing that happened is dead animals washing up. No, that's nothing out of ordinary, but some of the animals washed up completely hollow. Anything from fish to bird to even seals. So on to the interesting green text-worthy stuff. Be me. Be around 9 or 10. Me and friends go hang out. It's the winter. During the winter, Lake Baikal freezes up completely. So me and my friend are walking on the ice. We're hanging out and one of my friends calls us to him. He crouched and is staring at the ice. He points and tells us to look. Two prints are pushing against the ice. They look like suckers, but with fingers. They start moving, so we follow. We keep following until we hear a crack. Mostly Baikal is pretty safe to walk on, but it's better to be safe than sorry, so we stop. The prints keep going, then the ice cracks open. Two massive limbs come out of the ice. This thing looked like a cross between lobster and a mosquito. Things only walked on two legs. It was like 3 or 4 meters tall. As soon as we see it, we run like hell. Slip on the ice. Friends abandoned me. Thanks. Think I'm dead. Thing just walked by and keeps going. I come back home bawling my eyes out. Try to explain but can't. Parents slap me and tell me not to go on frozen lake without supervision. People commonly report seeing similar things in north of Baikal. Dark color, 2 legs, straw mouths, crustacean. I think I've gotten around 7 similar reports. On watch duty, I might have seen it on a few occasions, but it was always too far to really make out. First creepy thing that happened on the job. Boat goes missing. It shows up like a week later. We go to investigate. The boat is completely empty, so we dock it while the search party looks for survivors. So I'm hanging out. Guy watching over the boat called out through the radio. There's an intruder on the boat. We go check on it. There's a dude with a hat just hanging out on the boat. Guy's really weird though. It's like he isn't even fully solid. Coworker tried to get near the guy. The dude split apart in few pieces and they all jump into the water. Big WTF moment. In the past 20 years, there have been these 2 strange cases. In 2001 and 2013, bodies were found washed up with very strange markings. Their blood vessels were very dark, their eyes were grayed out, and their muscles were very tensed up. In the first case, forensic came back telling us it was just drowning and exposure. Second time, we struggled to even contact them. Eventually, they came back with the same result, drowning and exposure. Things is tough. These people were incredibly experienced in their field. Another thing was that the second guy was reported missing 2 weeks before we found him, yet his body was in prime condition. So about 2 months ago, we get a report of washed up body. We came to check on him. It was an old person who hit his head somehow and drowned. His skin was pale and his vessels stood out. I could tell he didn't die like the other 2. But the look of him reminded me of them too. Just to preface, he did not die the same way as those two. Clear differences were a sign of decomposition, his body being relaxed, and his eyes having color. I brought up the similarity to my coworker. He didn't know about it, so I promised to tell him later. We met up at the local cafe afterwards. We were talking about the cases, then we got interrupted by this old dude. We call him Staryk. For the longest time, assumed he was just some skizzle. Dude is very dirty, mutters to himself, has no friend or family, spends most of his time on shore taking notes. He's not violent, but most people consider him a nuisance. So he intervenes and instantly asks if their eyes were gray. I tell him yes. Staryk jumps in excitement. This guy awkward, so we get ready to leave. Staryk chases after us and asks us if they were decomposing. Now I'm intrigued, so I gave him the benefit of doubt and tell him to go off. Staryk then started lay it out. I relay his words in bullet points. The thing that is responsible for these two deaths is called crawling jellyfish. It can filter oxygen both from air and water. Its tentacle produce an adhesive which let it crawl on land. It also produces an insanely strong poison. It works by completely destroying blood cells, and the slightest concentration of it can have disastrous effect on the body. The poison this jelly uses is 40% pure. The effect of the poison darkens the blood and destroys the pigmentation of the eyes. It also works as an amazing antibiotic which can preserve the body for more than a month. The chemical reaction between the poison and the water tenses up the muscles, and they are exclusive to the Lake Baikal. They used to be a huge problem during the first half of the 20th century. Post-World War II, the government decided to use cyanide to kill off their populations. They poisoned the water supply, but it was covered up. He predicts their current population to be at double digits. After this, I'm a bit taken aback. While Staryk was going off, some guys tell him to shut up and leave. Staryk leaves, but I'm really interested if he got more to share. After a week, I kind of forget about the whole ordeal. Then I spotted Staryk taking notes while on my patrol. I approached him and asked what's up. Dude almost jumped out his skin when I did so. I asked if everything is okay. He told me yeah, with the shaky voice. Then I asked him about the dude that kicked him out the other day. Told me that's nothing. So I asked if he can tell me more about the jellyfish. He apologizes and tells he has to leave. I think to myself, how can a hobo be busy? I start following him around and try to get him to talk. Staryk just gave me a silent treatment. Keep following him for 30 minutes. Have to stop cause job. After work, I decided to go ask around about Staryk. Nobody really know much about him. He always just been a part of life. No one really knows when, where, and how they got here. He just always been here. Decided to ask a dude from cafe about Staryk. You shouldn't hang around with the guy and he's probably unhinged. So in my travel, I found out only one thing. The guy loved chess. Damn good too. Sometimes he challenged the other old folks. Next day, I buy a chessboard and wait in the park in the after hours. Bait worked perfectly. Staryk come out of bushes, beer can in hand, and ask for a game. Try to get him to chat. He's really focused on the game though. I'm bad and get beat in like 3 moves. He comes back for a rematch a few days later. Came up with the idea to give him something stronger. Russian standard. Works like a charm. He talks about how bad the pollution in the Lake Baikal is and so on. Ask him how does he know so much. Oh, I was a biologist. Elaborate. They researched on lake for almost 30 years. What happened then? Quit. Why? Didn't have a choice. How come? He looked at me. Hey Anon, you want to see something cool? Come on, I'll show you something that'll blow you away. Agree. Don't want to get attacked in some crack den, so get knife just in case. You know, Anon, you're a good kid. I'm in my 30s. Who cares, you're still young. That's why you have to see what I've seen. Okay. He gets to his makeshift home. Inside is a VCR and 2 tapes. They're labeled BAIKAL Misia, 1988, 1 and 2. What is this? Cool, eh? Your kid's probably never seen it before. Ask him if he got a TV from the period. No. I have to get an adapter. No local store have one, so I have to ship it. It costs a leg and an arm. After 4 days, it's finally here. When I get to Staryk's shack, he's not happy. Told me that I used him. We get into a heated argument. Eventually he breaks. Fine, if you want to watch them so bad, then let's go already. Told him that he's not gonna get near my apartment without a shower. Eventually, he convinced me to let him use mine. After him, the shower, no joke, become a gas chamber. So we finally hook up the VCR. It's insane how much care he put into maintaining it. We boot up the first tape. It's 2 hours long. Around a third of it is just inside a sub, with nothing happening. While this is happening, I asked Staryk to explain how and why he has this. Here's what he told. Turned out Staryk was an important researcher during the Soviet era. The reason for this mission happening is because while making topographical scans, the Soviet Union discovered that the lake is actually deeper than previously thought. The scan showed that past the 1,600 meters bottom, the lake continues. This is because stronger sonar can penetrate the false bottom. What is the false bottom? He explained this as a layer of dense, viscous underwater brine. Past this false bottom, the lake continues another 1,200 meters. It is located at the center of the lake. The problem is that Lake Baikal is freshwater lake, and such a thing should be impossible. So the mission was supposed to be retrieve samples, geological data, and maybe explain the oddity. The actual video finally begins, and 3 men enter the sub. One of which is our man Staryk. It is sent and the tape shows the usual thing you find in lake. Fish, seals, etc. The weird things start towards the end of the first tape. Passing 900 meters, our first oddity pops up. Every creature shown in the tape was given an in-depth explanation by Staryk. First thing in camera catches is a huge jellyfish, and I mean massive. This thing's body was about as big as a bus. The tentacles were definitely longer than a blue whale. Pig is the closest to it by looks. Staryk walks up to the TV and points at its body. The body is actually a separate ecosystem itself. While feeding the jellyfish filters water so well that it actually creates a separate environment inside the creature. The concentration of water in the jellyfish differs from the outside by about 6 or 7%. This is enough of difference to create completely alien environment. Its size provides a safe home for many smaller creatures. The ecosystem is so advanced that there is a food chain inside. There is a plankton that can produce energy with a very limited amount of light, which is provided by the luminance of its host. They get eaten by shrimp-like creature, which gets eaten by an apex predator. Then the predator waste is used to feed the plankton, and so the cycle goes on. These creatures are not only exclusive to Baikal, but the jellyfish too. The men in the submarine don't seem all that surprised about it, so I asked Staryk how long they've known about it. Ever since the 50s. They started washing up in mass after extermination of the crawler jellyfish. As they go deeper, the lake bed is covered by whale bones. The thing is, Baikal isn't home to any known whale species. One of the whale skeletons began to move. It's the ghost fish. I remember few reports of massive see-through fish swimming near the ice. Here's how Staryk explained it. It turns out the bones are remnants by a single-cell organism. The organism began to build a colony by mooching off minerals in this whale's bone. Eventually, they construct the membrane around the skeleton, which vaguely resembles a whale. The inside of the colony is filled with an acidic sugary solution, which keeps the entire organism buoyant. It then travels in the lake, its new source of food being microorganisms that it digests using the solution. Though after a long time, the solution will damage the whale bone to the point where they cannot support the structure. The organism most likely dies here, because at this stage, it can't filter water without moving. As they descend deeper, weird things keep appearing. Crabs with legs and lengths of cars, a giant centipede-like creature, huge eels, tentacle creatures that connected in rings, what I think might have been trilobites, and more that I couldn't make out. Once they go down past 1,600 meters, life becomes more scarce. Eventually, they reach the false bottom. It is a massive brine pool. There is zero life around it. 1 or 2 dead fish surface from the brine periodically. Staryk said that they took samples of the water about the brine. Said that the only life there were a few species of extramophil bacteria. But even they were struggling to survive. Okay, this is a part I was debating to post. Looking at what happened next screwed with my mind so hard that I have to move away. So here's the content warning. I don't know if there really needs to be one, but here it is. Listen at your own risk. They penetrate into the brain layer. At this point, Staryk stopped the tape and told me to stop watching. I asked why, but he ignores me and goes to take the tape away. I try to stop him, but he takes the tape and only that tapes and runs off. For a week, I asked him to let me finish it. He constantly shoot me down. My curiosity got the better of me. I know that Staryk was the vigilant guy. So when he went for one of his regular walk around the shore, I went to his shack and took the tape. Proceed at your own risk. They ascend 300 meters below the brain. The sonar picks up something massive. They approximated it to be almost 2 kilometers in length. Then it comes in screen. This serpent. Serpent isn't even a good way to describe its shape. It just being there, with sonar, the camera and the crew. The entire crew spent like 10 meters just screaming and raving. Its eyes stare straight into the camera. And no matter where I was, its eyes followed me. While watching, I feel this weird sensation. It's like I know that whatever I was looking at was evil. Everything about it was wrong. In time, one of the crew managed to get a grip and send the submarine upward. After the tape ended, I could hear it. It was this feeling in the back of my head. It was beckoning towards the lake, toward it. It doesn't even speak a word, and I know what it wanted. I couldn't take it. I wanted to talk to Staryk. As soon as he saw me, he punched me in the jaw. Got called an idiot. He take the tape from me and snapped over his knee. This is why I didn't want you to watch these tapes. I begged him to tell me what's going on. After he calmed down, he sat down. Here's what he told me. Back in the Cold War, the Soviets were planning to use Lake Baikal for propaganda purposes. But their scientists could never figure out why exactly this kind of diversity was exclusive to the lake. And it's not like the Americans had something to hide. If they couldn't hide the nuke, then everything was on the table. They cross-referenced every sea, ocean, lake, river, and puddle, and found that over 60% of Lake Baikal's life was not found anywhere else. What's that? Staryk's belief that it's that thing that lures life to it. For whatever reason, it attracts life to itself. Though the better question is, why is that thing there in the first place? Is it because it's supposed to be in the prison? Think about it. Why has the Baikal not changed in over 25 million years? Why is there a kilometer-deep layer of brain in freshwater lake? Whether it's alien, gods of some natural phenomenon, this brain is keeping it in and everything else out. After the mission went bust, Staryk decided to quit and stole the only existing footage of that mission. He tried to get a job, but since then, he was blacklisted from getting one, so he remained here. I don't know why he chose to keep that tape, but at least it was destroyed now. Eventually, I couldn't take it. That thing screwed with my vision, senses, and even speech. So I was forced to move in with my sister in Chelyabinsk. It seems like proximity to the lake is what affects me. I still get nightmares and stuff from time to time. But I don't know if it's some psychological thing or that thing. And that's the story of the eel god and the Lake Baikal. Do you think it's real? Does it make you want to visit Lake Baikal a lot? Maybe this one is just a fantasy about Lake Baikal many people have, and you already have so many conspiracy theories around it, make it so mysterious already. And that's the story for today. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye. Bum 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 bum. Under the sea, under the sea, under the sea, under the sea, under the sea.